Love is what you do in spite of what you feel. Think of every breath you take in as God breathing life into you. It is from others' errors that you get to avoid your own. Welcome to PSA. My name is Felix, if we haven't met yet. We have a backlog of over 30 videos right here for you to check out later on when you get a chance. And we're discussing all sorts of topics and personal experiences and some choices that I made that have helped me and many others through some challenging times. I know you will find some value in there, so please check them out. And we only ask for you to share them with the first person that comes to mind. The goal for PSA is to pay it forward and hopefully help someone who may be looking for a new take on some of the same old problems. Contrary to popular belief, history does not repeat itself, but too often men and women do. So if you are struggling with something, it may just be that some new perspective can get you those new results that you're looking for. Now, have you ever heard of the saying, "You are the wind beneath my wings"? When you really think about it, it is such a beautiful vision and an amazing thought that mechanically the wind comes at you as you're running towards it, but it lifts you up if the angle's right and you just start to glide. Do you ever think that many of us have that same ability to lift somebody up, but often we choose not to? And it might just be because you're just feeling a little down on yourself. But one of the best ways to lift your own spirits is to serve someone else. And one of the best things we can do is be grateful for it on either side. Now, I don't come from much, so if I return to the dirt, it's familiar. But I'm fine swimming in turbulent waters, and it's not because my parents are Cuban refugees. I kid. They came on an airplane anyway. I'm fine because I've invested enough in people that if things get rough, someone will hopefully come through for me. What if we looked at some of the scriptures the same way we look at all these colloquialisms and familiar sayings? In Genesis 2, verse 7, it says, "Then the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being." Have you ever been that breath of life for someone? 2 weeks ago, I shared this message about Damar Hamlin. I can't stop talking about it, and how he literally received a breath of life from a rescue team. But I'm speaking metaphorically, to lift people up with your words and your actions. I spent over 30 years, and I'm still doing it, investing in people who would go on to have their own companies, signature products, careers in fashion entertainment, and never once did I ask for anything in return. I was even approached by this big agency to become a sports agent because of the great successes the athletes I was working with were having. But I just couldn't come to terms with it. I couldn't get myself to accept money for just doing what I wish someone would have done for me. It felt too opportunistic, and I just knew that if I paid it forward, somehow it would just come back to me. My sincerity cost me a lot of money, but my integrity is intact. If you are in a position of leadership and you're not leading people past you, you are an obstacle, not a leader. Are you sincerely believing the best for people? If so, would that not mean that you would be playing a part in making that a reality? What business are you facilitating, and what dots are you connecting for who? What light are you shining on your community's members? We need to breathe life into those around us, and if someone needs CPR and those who are around are just watching you gasp for air, you need to fight for your life. Don't give up, get up, and go. I know it's hard when you've lost your breath, but dead things stop moving. You are still alive. Grieve, leave, and breathe. We create these versions of people that don't exist, and then we get angry when they don't live up to it. Given enough time, people will show you who they are, and let's be real, sometimes it doesn't take that long. The truth often hurts before it heals, and you don't always have to tell your side of the story. Time will. Let's agree, we don't need to be better than anyone else, but we do need to be better than we used to be. Whoever you allow access to you should be working with you on these mutual goals. I have cameras. You need a studio? Let me record that for you. Oh, you need a Denim Connect? Call my guy in Vernon. You finished your first draft of your book? Let me give it a read and I'll pass it along to my agent. Oh, you have a show tonight? Let's make sure everybody finds out about it and people come out to support. You see what I'm illustrating here? The prefix in community is to commune, to come together, to help, not to let things fall apart. There's two other quick verses that I want to highlight because I feel they support this thought of breathing life into people. It's in John 1, it's very popular. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. But one that you might not be familiar with is in Spanish. En Juan 1, el principio era el verbo, y el verbo era con Dios, y el verbo era Dios. El verbo is the verb. Now people get stuck on the text too often, breathing into dirt and saying one's a word and saying one's a verb. But what if instead of being so literal and wanting to tear things down, we get inspired by the beauty of this text? I can't prove to you that these verses are God's words. No one can, but I can prove to you when I put them to action, they work. That my words have breathed life into people, and when we moved together like a verb and took action, miracles happened. Unknowns became household names. Homeless people bought their first home. Dreamers became Olympians. If you're watching this and your chest is tight, I want you to know that God has that breath of life for you. It's that gust of wind that's beneath your wings. That word that keeps you in the game when you're trying to give up. Love is what you do in spite of what you feel. Think of every breath you take in as God breathing life into you. Everyone is convinced that they're supposed to listen to all these big money people, but Jesus didn't even have a shopping bag, but yet he can give you the gift of eternity. And we get to be his hands and feet for each other. There's no need to look for validation from people who are not valid. Lean into people who show up for you. You are not a victim. If you have been under some poor leadership, you learned a valuable lesson. What not to do. It is from others' errors that you get to avoid your own. Gratitude will free you, while ambition with no gratitude enslaves you. Let's be open to the scripture's teachings the same way we are to all these catchphrases and bumper stickers or self-help gurus. Let's keep coming through for each other, and until next week, let's love more. And I'll see you at the next PSA. Make sure you check out some of these videos and share them with the first person that comes to mind. That is just a small way that you can pick somebody up this week. Take care.